Boxed. When something is boxed, it is inside a package. Choke. If you choke on something, it stops you from breathing. Convenient. When something is convenient, it saves you time or effort. Discard. To discard something is to throw it away. Dolphin. A dolphin is a large sea mammal that breathes air. Ecologically. Ecologically means that something is done in a way that concerns living organisms and the environment. Fatal. Something that is fatal results in someone's death. Incidence. The number of times something happens is the incidence of the event. Municipal. Municipal means that something belongs to a city or local government. Overuse. Overuse occurs when something is utilized too many times. Pond. A pond is a freshwater body that is smaller than a lake. Recycle. When you recycle an object, you use its parts to make something else. Reusable. An object that is reusable can be utilized over and over again. Stuffed. When something is stuffed, it is pushed into a small space. Tragic. A tragic event causes sadness because it might involve death or suffering. Utilize. To utilize something is to use it for a specific purpose. Whale. A whale is a very large mammal that lives in the ocean. Amateur. An amateur is a person who does something for fun and isn't paid for it. Ambiguous. If something is ambiguous, it is not entirely clear. Anonymous. If someone is anonymous, no one knows who he or she is. Attain. To attain something is to succeed at something, or to get something you want. Autonomy. Autonomy is another word for freedom, or concession. Autonomy. Autonomy is another word for freedom, or independence. Concession. A concession is something that one person gives up to another. Decay. Decay is the result of something slowly being broken down, or dwell. To dwell somewhere means to live there. Enlighten. To enlighten someone is to teach them about something. Enrich. To enrich means to make someone rich or increase their wealth. Flourish. To flourish means to do very well and be in an excellent condition. Geometry. Geometry is the study of shapes and how to measure them. Gleam. To gleam means to sparkle and shine. Greed. Greed is wanting to have more of something than you need or should have. Harmony. Harmony is a feeling that everything is peaceful, balanced, and in agreement. Indigenous. Indigenous means that something or someone exists naturally in an environment or area. Jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means the power or right to make judgments about the law and how it is upheld. Parade. A parade is a series of things or people that come or are shown one after another. Statue. A statue is a three-dimensional work of art, usually made of clay, marble, or metal. Virgin. A virgin is someone who has never had sex. Abnormal. If something is abnormal, it is different from normal or average. Absent. If someone or something is absent, they are missing or not in the place they are expected to be. Adjacent. When something is adjacent, it is next to or adjoining something else. Aluminum. Aluminum is a chemical element that is a light silver-colored metal. Applicable. If something is applicable to a person or thing, it is relevant to them. Artificial. If something is artificial, it was not made naturally, but mimics something natural. Bicycle. A bicycle is a two-wheeled vehicle powered by pedaling. Broker. To broker is to arrange or negotiate the details of something for others. Bureaucracy. A bureaucracy is a group of people who work together to help manage a large business or run a country. Configure. To configure something means to set it up and arrange it. Consolidate. To consolidate means to join or bring together into one thing. Convenience. If something is done for your convenience, it allows you to do something easily or without any trouble. Deduct. To deduct means to subtract something. Deem. To deem means to consider something. Entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who starts a new business or organization in order to make money. Evenly. If something is evenly spread or spaced, it is divided equally into amounts, numbers, or values. Fiscal. When something is fiscal, it is related to money or finances. Franchise. Fiscal. When something is fiscal, it is related to money or finances, especially that of a government or business. Franchise. A franchise is the right to sell another company's products or services in a particular area. Ideological. If something is ideological, it is based on a system of beliefs or ideals, especially those that relate to a government or economy. Robot. A robot is a machine that can do the work of a person and operates automatically, or is controlled by a computer. Abbey. An abbey is a house or group of houses where monks or nuns live. Abundant. If something is abundant, then it is available in large quantities. Adjoin. To adjoin something means to be next to or attached to something else. Ample. If something is ample, then it is enough, or more than enough. Arid. If a place is arid, then it is hot and dry and gets very little or no rain. Cathedral. A cathedral is an important and often large and beautifully built church. Crisis. A crisis is a difficult time when things are going to either get worse or better. Deprive. To deprive someone of something means to not. Drought. Deprive. To deprive someone of something means to not let them have it. Drought. A drought is a long period of time in which little or no rain falls. Eligible. If someone is eligible, then they are permitted to do or have something. Fast. To fast means to go without food or drink for a period of time. Grumble. To grumble means to complain. Inland. If someone goes inland, they travel into the center of a country or land. Moisture. Moisture is small drops of water in the air or on a surface. Nonetheless. If something happens nonetheless, then it occurs despite some other thing. Oath. An oath is a formal, often public promise. Prairie. A prairie is a large, flat area of grassland. Rugged. If an area of land is rugged, then it is rocky and difficult to travel through. Scarce. If something is scarce, then there is a very small amount of it. Speculate. To speculate means to guess about something. Aquatic. If a plant or animal is aquatic, it lives or grows in water. Biosphere. The biosphere is the Earth's surface and atmosphere where there are living things. Bizarre. When something is bizarre, it is very strange. Celsius. Celsius is a scale for measuring temperature. Coarse. If something is coarse, that means it has a rough texture. Companion. A companion is a person that someone spends a lot of time with. Digest. To digest means to swallow food and pass it through the body. Duration. The duration of an event is the time during which it happens. Ecology. Ecology is the study of the environment and living things. Feat. A feat is an impressive or difficult achievement or action. Infinite. If something is infinite, it has no limit or end. Nucleus. The nucleus is the central part of an atom or cell. Parasite. A parasite is a tiny animal or plant that attaches to another animal to get food. Prominent. When something is prominent, it is important and well known. Repetitive. When something is repetitive, it is repeated many times and becomes boring. Reproductive. If something is reproductive, it is a living thing which can produce young. Temperate. When a place is temperate, it never gets too hot or cold. Tolerance. Tolerance is the ability to accept something unfavorable or to allow the freedom of choice for others. Undergo. To undergo an action means to have it happen to you. Vulnerable. When someone is vulnerable, they are weak and without protection. Archaic. If something is archaic, it is very old or outdated. Brass. Brass is a metal that is used to make musical instruments and ornaments. Capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system where private companies make goods for profit. Component. A component is a part of a larger machine. Dependence. Dependence is a situation in which somebody relies on something else. Diminish. To diminish means to reduce or get smaller. Drawback. A drawback is a disadvantage. Impose. To impose means to interrupt or force your ideas on other people. Industry. Industry is a kind of business that produces services or things for sale. Managerial. Managerial describes something related to a manager or management. Medieval. If something is medieval, it comes from the period between 650 and 1500 CE. Obsolete. If something is obsolete, it is not used anymore because something better exists. Oriented. When you are oriented toward something, you are faced in that direction. Peninsula. A peninsula is a large piece of land that is surrounded by the sea on 3 sides. Prestige. If a person has prestige, people admire or respect them. Proportion. A proportion is an amount that shows the link between the parts and the whole. Radical. If something is radical, it is very new or different. Refute. To refute something means to prove that it is false or incorrect. Spectacular. If something is spectacular, it looks or sounds very impressive. Weave. To weave means to make cloth using horizontal and vertical threads. Accountant. An accountant is a person whose job is to keep financial accounts for a business. Capitalist. A capitalist is a business person who invests in trade and industry for profit. Contempt. Contempt is the feeling of having no respect for something. Crop. A crop is something produced by the land. Dedicate. To dedicate oneself to something means to put a lot of time and effort into it. Ditch. A ditch is a narrow hole cut into the ground by a road or a field. Enterprise. An enterprise is a company or business. Finance. To finance someone or something means to provide money for them. Indifferent. When someone is indifferent toward something, they have a lack of interest in it. Irrigate. To irrigate means to supply water to land so that crops can grow. Maximize. To maximize something is to make it as great as possible in amount, size, or importance. Monetary. When something is monetary, it relates to money. Precaution. A precaution is an action that is meant to stop something bad from happening. Preliminary. Preliminary describes something that happens before a more important event. Saturate. To saturate something means to completely soak it with a liquid. Simplicity. The simplicity of something is the fact that it is easy to do or understand. Sow. To sow seeds means to plant them in the ground. Spade. A spade is a tool used for digging. Tomato. A tomato is a round red fruit, but upcoming. Tomato. A tomato is a round red fruit, but upcoming. When something is upcoming, that means it will happen in the near future. Anthropology. Anthropology is the study of people, society, and culture. Applaud. To applaud means to clap in order to show approval. Appoint. To appoint someone to a job means to give the job to them. Compatible. When things are compatible, they work well or exist together successfully. Competence. Competence is the ability to do something well or effectively. Confer. To confer with someone means to discuss something with them to make a decision. Consecutive. When things are consecutive, they happen one after another without interruption. Crude. When something is crude, it is not exact or detailed, but can still be useful. Cube. A cube is a solid object with 6 square surfaces that are all the same size. Feedback. Feedback is comments to a person about how they are doing something. Ignorance. Ignorance of something is lack of knowledge about it. Masculine. When something is masculine, it is a quality or thing related to men. Monument. A monument is a structure that is built to remind people of a person or event. Muscular. When someone is muscular, they are very fit and strong. Posture. A person's posture is the manner in which they stand or sit. Situate. To situate something means to place or build it in a certain place. Supervise. To supervise something means to make sure that it is done correctly. Symmetry. Symmetry is the state of having 2 halves that are exactly the same. Tattoo. A tattoo is a design that is drawn permanently on the skin with needles. Undergraduate. An undergraduate is a student at a college who is studying for a bachelor's degree. Cater. To cater to someone means to provide them with all the things they need or want. Considerate. When someone is considerate, they pay attention to the needs of others. Consumption. The consumption of food or drink is the act of eating or drinking it. Criteria. Criteria are factors on which a person judges or decides something. Crust. Crust is the tough outer part of a loaf of bread. Entitle. To entitle someone means to give them the right to have or do something. Escort. To escort people means to safely accompany them to a place. External. When something is external, it is connected to an outer part. Facility. A facility is a building that exists for a particular purpose. Faculty. A faculty is a mental or physical ability. Heap. A heap of things is a large pile of them. Hemisphere. A hemisphere is 1/2 of the earth. Hound. A hound is a type of dog that is often used for racing or hunting. Impersonal. If something is impersonal, it is not friendly and makes people feel unimportant. Lick. When you lick something, you pass your tongue over it. Ornament. An ornament is an attractive object that people display in their homes. Pedestrian. A pedestrian is a person who is walking on a street. Sanctuary. A sanctuary is a place where people in danger can go to be safe. Spectator. A spectator is someone who watches something, for example, a sports event. Yell. When you yell at someone, you shout at them. Accessory. An accessory is a thing that is added to another thing to make it look better. Acquisition. An acquisition is something that a person buys or gets in some way. Cardboard. Cardboard is a material made out of stiff paper. It is often used to make boxes. Dilemma. A dilemma is a difficult situation in which a choice has to be made. Elaborate. When something is elaborate, it contains a lot of details. Exact. Exact means correct in every detail. Facilitate. To facilitate something is to make it easier. Fleet. A fleet is a group of ships. Grid. A grid is a pattern of squares with numbers and letters to find places on a map. Import. To import means to bring in a product from another country. Infer. To infer something is to decide it is true based on other information one has. Inflate. To inflate something means to fill it up with air. Innate. When something is innate, it is something that one is born with and was not learned. Marble. Marble is a type of rock that feels cold and is smooth when cut. Mast. A mast is a long pole on a ship that holds the sail. Nausea. Nausea is the feeling of being sick to your stomach. Naval. When something is naval, it relates to a country's navy or military ships. Pouch. A pouch is a small, flexible bag that is usually made of soft material. Saturated. If something is saturated, it is completely wet. Update. An update is an act of making something more modern or current. Attorney. An attorney is one who gives others advice about the law. Chronic. When something is chronic, it happens over and over again for a long time. Discipline. Discipline is training that helps people follow the rules. Donor. A donor is somebody who gives something to an organization. Fellow. A fellow is someone who shares a job or quality with someone else. Gossip. Gossip is information that might be untrue, but is still discussed anyway. Graduate. To graduate from a school means to complete and pass all courses of study there. Graffiti. Graffiti is words or drawings in public places. Guardian. A guardian is someone who protects somebody or something. Implicate. To implicate someone is to show that they have done a crime or something bad. Kin. Kin is a person's family and relatives. Referee. A referee is a person who makes sure that the rules are followed in sports. Sever. To sever something is to cut through it completely. Shaft. A shaft is a handle of a tool or weapon. Stab. To stab means to cut with the end of a sharp object like a knife. Stimulus. A stimulus is something that causes growth or activity. Suspicion. A suspicion is a feeling that something is possible or true in a crime. Terminate. To terminate something means to stop or end it. Theme. A theme is the main subject of a book, movie, or painting. Tuition. Tuition is the amount of money paid to go to a school. Aggressive. Amnesty. Aggressive. If someone is aggressive, then they constantly want to fight or argue. Amnesty. Amnesty is a pardon given to prisoners of war. Arena. An arena is a building where people can watch sports and concerts. Auditorium. An auditorium is a large building used for public events. Captive. A captive is a prisoner. Combat. Combat is fighting between two people or groups. Commonplace. If something is commonplace, then it is ordinary. Compound. A compound is an enclosed area, such as a prison or factory. Corps. A corps is a division of a military force. Distract. To distract someone means to stop them from concentrating on something. Dumb. If someone is dumb, they are unable to speak. Foe. A foe is an enemy or opponent. Hack. To hack something means to cut it into uneven pieces. Meditate. To meditate means to focus or think deeply in silence. Nick. To nick something or someone means to cut them slightly with a sharp object. Provoke. To provoke someone means to annoy them on purpose to cause violence. Realm. A realm is any area of activity or interest. Reign. A reign is the period of time in which a ruler rules. Rust. Rust is a red and brown coating on iron objects caused by water and air. Sacred. If something is sacred, then it is worshipped and respected. Aesthetic. If something is aesthetic, then it is concerned with a love of beauty. Arrogant. If someone is arrogant, they think that they are more important than others. Bias. A bias is a person's likelihood to like one thing more than another thing. Canyon. A canyon is a narrow valley with steep walls through which a river often flows. Creek. A creek is a stream or small river. Drill. A drill is a tool with a point that spins in order to make a hole. Executive. An executive is the top manager of a business. Fatigue. Fatigue is a feeling of extreme tiredness. Incline. An incline is a sharp rise in something, especially a hill or mountain. Nasty. If something is nasty, then it is not nice or pleasant. Perceive. Nasty. If something is nasty, then it is not nice or pleasant. Perceive. To perceive something means to be aware of it. Primate. A primate is a type of mammal that includes monkeys, apes, and humans. Primitive. If something is primitive, then it is simple, basic, and not very developed. Stereotype. A stereotype is a general but often incorrect idea about a person or thing. Sticky. If something is sticky, then it is covered with a substance that things stick to. Termite. A termite is an insect that lives in groups and feeds on wood. Thereby. If we say that thereby something happens, we mean it is a result of something else. Trail. A trail is a path for traveling by foot through a wild area. Twig. A twig is a short and thin branch from a tree or bush. Welfare. Welfare is the health and happiness of a person or group. Behalf. If something is done on one's behalf, it is done for that person by another. Flap. To flap means to move quickly up and down or from side to side. Glacier. A glacier is a large piece of ice that moves very slowly. Globe. The globe refers to the earth. Horizontal. When something is horizontal, it is flat and level with the ground. Hum. To hum means to make a low, continuous noise. Inventory. An inventory is a supply of something. Inward. If a thought or feeling is inward, it is not expressed or shown to others. Loaf. A loaf of bread is bread shaped and baked in one piece. Oracle. An oracle is a person who speaks with gods and gives advice about the future. Orbit. To orbit something means to move around it in a continuous curving path. Overview. An overview is a general description of a situation. Preview. A preview is an opportunity to see something before it is available to the public. Previous. If something is previous, then it happened earlier in time or order. Provide. To provide something means to supply it. Recur. To recur means to happen more than once. Relevant. When something is relevant, it is important to a certain person or situation. Rite. A rite is a traditional ceremony carried out by a particular group or society. Stall. To stall means to stop a process and continue it at a later time. Supernatural. If something is supernatural, it is not real or explainable by laws of nature. Aquarium. An aquarium is a place where fish and underwater animals are kept. Arbitrary. If something is arbitrary, it is not based on any plan or system, so it seems random. Autobiography. An autobiography is a true story of a person's life written by that person. Convention. A convention is behavior that is considered to be common or polite. Gracious. If someone is gracious, then they are kind and helpful to those who need it. Improve. To improve something means to make it better. Insulate. To insulate something means to protect it from heat, cold, or noise. Intrigue. To intrigue means to cause an interest in something or someone. Longevity. Longevity is the ability to live for a long time. Misplace. To misplace something means to lose it. Naughty. When children are naughty, they behave badly or do not do what they are told. Norm. A norm is a way of behaving that is considered normal in a particular society. Orangutan. An orangutan is a large ape with red and brown hair and long arms. Overload. To overload something means to put more things into it than it is meant to hold. Philanthropy. Philanthropy is the act of helping others without wanting anything in return. Probe. To probe into something means to ask questions to discover facts about it. Recipient. A recipient of something is the person who receives it. Reptile. A reptile is a cold-blooded animal that lays eggs and has skin covered with scales. Thrive. To thrive means to do well and be successful, healthy, or strong. Ultimate. When something is ultimate, it is the final result or aim of a long series of events. Antique. If something is antique, it is very old and rare and therefore valuable. Applicant. An applicant is someone who writes a request to be considered for a job or prize. Artifact. An artifact is an old object made by humans that is historically interesting. Authentic. When something is authentic, It is not false or a copy of the original. Chronology. The chronology of a series of past events is when they happened. Diplomat. A diplomat is a representative of a country who works with another country. Epic. An epic is a long book, poem, or movie about a period of time or a great event. Excerpt. An excerpt is a short piece of writing or music taken from a larger piece. Fossil. A fossil is the hard remains of a prehistoric animal or plant. Humiliate. To humiliate someone means to make them feel ashamed and embarrassed. Lyric. When a poem is considered lyric, it expresses a lot of emotion. Majesty. Majesty is supreme greatness or authority. Monarch. The monarch of a country is someone who rules a country through hereditary right. Precede. To precede something means to come before it. Punctual. When someone is punctual, they do something or arrive at the right time. Recruit. To recruit people means to select them to join or work for an organization. Refund. A refund is money given back to a person when an item is returned to a store. Register. A register is an official list or record of people or things. Renown. Renown is the quality of being well known due to having done good things. Tusk. A tusk is a long, curved, pointed tooth of an elephant, boar, or walrus. Coexist. To coexist with something means to exist with it in the same time and place. Conceive. To conceive something means to be able to imagine or believe it. Dubious. When something or someone is dubious, they are not considered honest. Ego. An ego is a person's sense of their own worth. Elastic. Elastic is a rubber that stretches when it is pulled. Endeavor. An endeavor is an attempt to do something, especially something new or original. Engrave. Excavate. To excavate means to dig on land and engrave. Endeavor. Engrave. To engrave means to cut a design or words into the surface of something. Excavate. To excavate means to dig on land and remove dirt to look for something. Jagged. When something is jagged, it has a tough, uneven shape or edge. Locale. A locale is a small area or place where something specific happens. Magnitude. Magnitude refers to large size. Mold. A mold is a hollow container that is used to make certain shapes. Outright. When something is outright, it is open and direct. Periphery. The periphery of an area, place, or plaster. Periphery. The periphery of an area, place, or thing is the edge of it. Plaster. Plaster is a smooth paste that gets hard when it dries. Shovel. A shovel is a tool with a long handle that is used for digging. Skeletal. When something is skeletal, it relates to bones in the body. Stumble. When you stumble, you move in an awkward, unplanned way. Thigh. Your thigh is the upper half of your leg. Vicious. When something or someone is vicious, they are violent and cruel. Attic. An attic is a room just below a house's roof. Chunk. A chunk is a thick, solid piece of something. Civic. If something is civic, then it is related to a town or city, in particular to its government. Descent. A descent is a movement downwards. Din. A din is loud, unpleasant, and extended noise. Dissatisfy. To dissatisfy someone means to fail to please them. Fuss. A fuss is excited or annoyed behavior that is not useful in any way. Glamorous. A glamorous occasion is one full of beauty and excitement. Gourmet. If food is gourmet, then it is nicer and more expensive than regular food. Hence. The word hence shows that something is a result of something else. Intrinsic. If something is intrinsic, then it is related to the basic nature of that thing. Kettle. A kettle is a large metal pot used for boiling liquids or cooking food. Ministry. A ministry is a government department. Ordeal. An ordeal is a bad experience. Outspoken. If someone is outspoken, then they are not afraid to say what they think. Overwork. To overwork someone means to make them tired with too much work. Particular. If something is particular, then it is a single important part of a group of things. Snore. To snore means to make a loud noise each time a sleeping person breathes. Soundly. If something is done soundly, then it is done in the best or most complete way. Superintendent. A superintendent is a person who runs a certain department or building. Congested. If something is congested, it is full or blocked. Courier. A courier is someone who takes and delivers mail or packages. Deform. To deform something means to change it from its correct or original shape. Etiquette. Etiquette is the group of rules about how to be polite. Exclusive. If something is exclusive, it is expensive and only for rich people. Freight. Freight is a set of items carried on a train, boat, or airplane. Garment. A garment is a piece of clothing. Insomnia. Insomnia is a condition in which a person has difficulty sleeping. Intuitive. Intuitive is knowing about something without having support or proof. Liable. If something is liable to happen, it is very. To obsess about something means liable. Intuitive. Intuitive. Liable. If something is liable to happen, it is very likely that it will happen. Obsess. To obsess about something means to think about it all of the time. Overboard. When something is overboard, it is over the side of a boat and in the water. Premium. A premium is a payment that is higher than average. Privilege. A privilege is a special right given only to a certain person or group of people. Propel. To propel something means to push or move it somewhere. Socialize. To socialize is to have a good time with people. Suppress. To suppress something means to prevent it from happening. Tram. A tram is a vehicle like a streetcar that runs on electricity above ground. Unsettle. To unsettle someone means to make them anxious or worried. Warp. To warp means to become bent into the wrong shape. Accumulate. To accumulate something is to collect a lot of it over time. Aerial. When something is aerial, it relates to being in the air or flying. Apparatus. An apparatus is a device used for a particular purpose. Avalanche. An avalanche is a large amount of snow, ice, and rock falling off a mountain. Consistency. Consistency is the state of always behaving in the same way. Discharge. To discharge someone is to allow them to leave from a place, usually a hospital. Episode. An episode is something that happens as part of a series of events. Intact. When something is intact, it is complete and not damaged. Mortal. When a person is mortal, they cannot live forever. Omen. An omen is a sign of what will happen in the future. Overcast. When the sky is overcast, it is full of clouds and is not sunny. Poignant. When something is poignant, it causes a very strong feeling of sadness. Ranger. A ranger is a person who protects forests or parks. Rubble. Rubble is piles of broken stone and wood created after a building is destroyed. Seclude. To seclude someone means to keep them away from other people. Sideways. If something moves sideways, then it moves to or from the side. Sob. To sob is to cry loudly. Sober. When something or someone is sober, they are serious and calm. Speck. A speck is a very small mark or amount. Upbringing. An upbringing is the way. Bliss. Upbringing. An upbringing is the way that someone is taught to behave by their parents. Bliss. Bliss is a state of complete happiness. Butler. A butler is the most important male servant in a wealthy house. Cramp. A cramp is a strong pain caused by a muscle after a lot of physical use. Decorate. When you decorate a room, you make it more attractive by adding beautiful things to it. Dilapidated. When a building is dilapidated, it is old and in bad condition. Evoke. To evoke a memory or emotion means to make it occur. Farewell. A farewell is an instance of saying goodbye, or a way to say it. Faucet. A faucet is a device that controls the flow of a liquid or gas. Filth. Filth is dirt or dirty things that disgust you. Flaw. A flaw is a mistake in something that causes it to be less effective or correct. Grin. To grin means to smile broadly. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is the maintenance of a house or an establishment like a hotel. Mound. A mound of something is a large pile of it. Numb. When a body part is numb, it does not have any feeling. Reckless. When people are reckless, they act in an unsafe way. Slate. Slate is a dark gray rock that can easily be split into layers. Stool. A stool is a seat with legs but no support for a person's arms and back. Testament. A testament to something shows. Timber. Testament. A testament to something shows that it exists or is true. Timber. Timber is wood that is used for building houses and making furniture. Valve. A valve is a device attached to a pipe and controls the flow of liquid or air. Camouflage. Camouflage is something used to hide people and things. Confront. When you confront someone, you meet them face to face to deal with a problem. Contemplate. To contemplate something means to think about it. Contend. To contend with something means to struggle to overcome it. Cot. A cot is a small portable bed. Enlist. To enlist means to join the military. Frontier. A frontier is a border between two regions or countries. Guerrilla. A guerrilla is a person who fights as part of an unofficial army. Handbook. A handbook is material that gives specific information or instructions. Hesitant. If someone is hesitant, then they are not sure or are slow to act or speak. Lush. If something is lush, then it is full of a variety of large, healthy plants.
The lush jungle was filled with plants, trees, and vines.
Outfit. An outfit is a set of clothes worn together, often for a certain job or event. Paw. A paw is an animal's foot that has claws or soft pads. Splendid. If something or someone is splendid, then they are very good. Stray. To stray means to go in a wrong direction and become lost. Substantial. If something is substantial, then it is of great importance, size, or value. Torch. A torch is a stick with one end on fire that can be carried in order to give light. Tract. A tract is a large area of land. A vigil is a period of watchful attention at night for a specific purpose. Tract. A tract, vigil. A vigil is a period of watchful attention at night for a specific purpose. Weary. If someone is weary, then they are tired. Amid. If something is amid something else, then it is in the middle of it. Backstage. If something happens backstage, it occurs behind a theater stage. Billionaire. A billionaire is someone who has at least $1 billion. Brute. A brute is someone who behaves or looks like a violent animal. Clumsy. If someone is clumsy, then they are awkward in handling things. Collide. To collide with something means to hit it while moving. Culprit. A culprit is someone who has committed a crime or other bad deed. Evacuate. To evacuate means to leave a place of danger to a place of safety. Flammable. If something is flammable, then it is able to catch on fire. Mob. A mob is a large crowd of people that often wants to cause violence. Premature. If something is premature, then it is done too early or before the proper time. Resent. To resent something means to have bad feelings about. Satire. Resent. To resent something means to have bad feelings about it. Satire. A satire is a work of art that uses humor and irony to make fun of something. Scrutiny. Scrutiny is the careful examination of something. Segregate. To segregate something means to place it in a group apart from other things. Subject. To subject someone to something means to force them to do or experience it. Testify. To testify means to give evidence as a witness. Tumult. A tumult is a loud and confused noise made by a large crowd of people. Underestimate. To underestimate something or someone means to think less of them than they really are. Uproar. Uproar is loud noise caused by people who are very angry or upset. Accelerate. To accelerate means to increase in speed. Anew. If you do something anew, you do it again, possibly in a different way. Defect. A defect is a part of something that is wrong or missing. Dreary. If something is dreary, then it is dull, dark, and lifeless. Duplicate. To duplicate something means to copy it. Electromagnetic. If something is electromagnetic, it is related to electricity and magnetic fields. Electron. An electron is a particle in all atoms that has a negative electric charge. Glide. To glide means to fly on extended wings with little or no effort. Ingenious. If someone is ingenious, then they are very smart. Innovation. An innovation is a product or an idea that is new or very original. Innovative. If something or someone is innovative, they can think in creative ways. Launch. To launch something means to make it go into motion. Meteorological. If something is meteorological, it is concerned. Meteorology. Meteorological. If something is meteorological, it is concerned with the science of weather. Meteorology. Meteorology is the science that studies the weather. Penetrate. To penetrate something means to enter into it. Persistent. A persistent person does not give up and keeps on working. Propulsion. Propulsion is the force that moves something forward. Simulate. To simulate something means to copy its actions or characteristics. Spur. To spur someone means to urge them into action. Stimulate. To stimulate something means to cause or to increase activity in it. Beforehand. If something is done beforehand, then it is done in advance. Blurred. Something blurred is not seen clearly. Centigrade. If a temperature is given in centigrade, it is the same as the temperature in Celsius. Chatter. To chatter means to talk quickly about unimportant things. Concerto. A concerto is music played with an orchestra but features a solo instrument. Condense. To condense a gas means to make it a liquid. Deteriorate. To deteriorate means to become steadily worse. Degree. Degree is a unit for measuring temperature. Exterior. An exterior is the outside surface of something. Hearty. If someone or something is hearty, then they are loud and happy. Hospitable. If someone is hospitable, they are friendly to strangers. Humor. Humor can be something that makes you laugh, and it can also refer to your feelings. Manor. A manor is a large house with many rooms. Monastery. A monastery is a building in which monks live. Nursery. A nursery is a room where babies and children sleep, play, or are cared for. Outstretched. If something is outstretched, then it is extended to its full length. Parcel. A parcel is a package of things to be carried or mailed somewhere. Profile. A profile is an outline of a face, usually as seen from the side. Winding. If something is winding, then it follows a twisting course. Zip. To zip something means to close it with a zipper. Abolish. To abolish something means to put an end to it, such as a system or law. Amend. To amend something means to change it to improve or make it accurate. Aspire. To aspire means to have a strong desire to achieve or do something. Censor. To censor information means to remove it if it is dangerous, rude, or rebellious. Charter. A charter is a document that describes the rights of an organization or group. Constitution. A constitution is a document of principles for a government. Cosmopolitan. When a place is cosmopolitan, it is full of people from many different places. Disseminate. To disseminate information or knowledge means to distribute it. Flatter. To flatter people means to praise them in an effort to please them. Infamous. When someone is infamous, they are well known for something bad. Lame. If one is lame, they cannot walk properly due to an injury to the leg or foot. Limp. To limp means to walk with difficulty because someone's leg or foot is hurt. Outburst. An outburst is a sudden, strong expression of an emotion. Pathological. When a behavior is pathological, it is extreme, unacceptable, and sometimes a symptom of disease. Phenomenal. When something is phenomenal, it is unusually great. Poll. A poll is a survey in which people give their opinions about important things. Remorse. Remorse is a strong feeling of sadness and regret. Secrecy. Secrecy is the behavior of keeping things secret. Tackle. To tackle something means to deal with it in a determined and efficient way. Trance. A trance is a state where people seem asleep and have no control of themselves. Coward. A coward is a person who lacks courage to do risky or dangerous things. Delete. To delete something means to remove or erase written material. Earnest. If someone is earnest, then they are honest. Ethnic. If something is ethnic, then it is related to a group with a similar culture. Exclude. To exclude someone means to not accept them into a group. First-hand. If something is first-hand, then it is from an original source. Fluent. If someone is fluent in a language, then they are able to speak it very well. Imperial. If something is imperial, then it is related to an empire. Inclusive. If something is inclusive, then it is open to all groups and people in society. Legislature. A legislature is the section of a government that makes laws. Linguistic. If something is linguistic, then it is concerned with language. Monolingual. If someone is monolingual, then they speak only one language. Nationality. Nationality is an identity based on the nation from which you come. Patriot. A patriot is someone who loves, supports, and defends their country. Prosecute. To prosecute someone means to take legal action against them. Racial. If something is racial, then it is related to a race or races. Solemn. If something is solemn, then it is serious and honest. Solidarity. Solidarity is a union formed from common responsibilities or interests. Tact. Tact is the ability to avoid offending people when dealing with problems. Undermine. To undermine someone means to betray them or weaken their efforts or authority. Constrain. To constrain something means to limit its development. Depot. A depot is a bus or train station. Emulate. To emulate people means to imitate them because they are greatly admired. Forefinger. The forefinger is the finger between one's thumb and middle finger. Guts. The guts are all the organs inside a person or animal. Inherent. When something is inherent, it is a natural part of something else. Intimidate. To intimidate means to frighten others. Janitor. A janitor is a person who makes repairs and takes care of a building. Moist. When something is moist, it is slightly wet. Nope. Nope is an informal way of saying no. Prod. To prod means to push someone or something with a finger or pointed object. Ransom. A ransom is a sum of money paid. Restrain. To restrain someone or something means ransom. Prod. To prod. Ransom. A ransom is a sum of money paid to a kidnapper to set the person free. Restrain. To restrain someone or something means to use physical strength to stop them. Saliva. Saliva is the watery liquid in people's mouths that helps in digestion. Spit. To spit means to force liquid from one's mouth. Sprint. To sprint means to run very fast over a short distance. Stunt. A stunt is something that is done in order to get attention or publicity. Tolerant. When people are tolerant, they are respectful of others' rights and beliefs. Vampire. A vampire is a fictional monster that sleeps in a coffin and sucks people's blood. Yawn. To yawn means to open one's mouth wide and breathe in air. Adjoining. If something is adjoining, it is next to or joined with a building or room. Allege. To allege something is to say that it is true without offering proof. Arch. An arch is a curved opening formed under a structure such as a bridge or doorway. Assemble. To assemble means to get together in one place. Casualty. A casualty is a person killed or injured in a war or an accident. Erect. To erect something means to build it. Foul. If something is foul, then it is very unpleasant. Hectare. A hectare is a unit of measure equal to 10,000 square meters. Heighten. To heighten an emotion means to increase the intensity of it. Hospitality. Hospitality is friendly behavior and entertainment shown to guests or strangers. Mansion. A mansion is a large and expensive home. Outnumber. To outnumber a group means to have a greater number than it. Overjoyed. If someone is overjoyed, then they are extremely happy. Pasture. A pasture is an area of land covered with grass for animals to use as food. Petition. A petition is a written request asking an authority to do something. Renovate. To renovate a building means to repair it or to build new structures on it. Revise. To revise something means to change it or update it to make it better. Slab. A slab is a large, thick, flat piece of stone, concrete, metal, or wood. Terrace. A terrace is an open area that is connected to a house or an apartment. Turf. Turf is a section of grass and the dirt in which it grows. Analogous. If something is analogous to another thing, then it is like it in certain ways. Binoculars. Binoculars are a device used for seeing things that are far away. Bulk. The bulk of something is its size. Comprise. If something comprises something else, it consists of or is made up of it. Depict. To depict something means to show or portray it, often using art. Dual. If something is dual, then it is made up of two parts. Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is a temperature scale where water freezes at 32 degrees and boils at 212 degrees. Fulfill. To fulfill something means to achieve or finish it. Grove. A grove is a small group of trees. Ore. Ore is the raw form of rock or material from which a valuable metal is taken. Outback. The outback is the wild inland region of Australia where very few people live. Outweigh. To outweigh something means to exceed it in value, amount, or importance. Paradox. A paradox is a true statement or real event that seems illogical. Pier. A pier is a structure that extends into a body of water. Shortcut. A shortcut is a route that is shorter than the main route. Tariff. A tariff is a tax or fee paid on certain imports or exports. Thermometer. A thermometer is a device that measures temperature. Tilt. To tilt something means to tip it into a sloping position. Vice versa. If a statement is vice versa, then its two main ideas are switched with one another. Whereabouts. The whereabouts of someone or something is the place where they are.